Hey, this is Mike Grande, and this is actually Rock Out Loud Live's first demonstration I'll be doing with Danny Thompson on a podcast he's going to be airing. So this is a little tutorial to actually explain exactly what Danny saw on the demo and what I've been using now with my coaches. I have some people testing it. It's in beta, and after this, we'll give you the link so you can test it too. This is a super incredibly simple and intuitive interface to teach virtual lessons on an educational level where it's interactive, and I'm going to show you how simple this is. First and foremost, you put in your name. I'm going to put in my name as Mike. That'll be my teaching room. You have the option to select the guitar room, ukulele room, that's for Mary Ruth, piano lessons. We're doing drum lessons as well, bass lessons. Each one of the rooms kind of bring in the set of chords. So guitar lessons will have the guitar chords, piano lessons will have piano chords, etc. So whatever you decide to choose for that lesson will bring up automatically those chords. So I'm going to select my room, and it's as simple as that. Once you've created the room, it generates it, selects a code, gives it to you, and then what you do is the bottom right has the ability to just copy that link to a clipboard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to incognito mode, and I'm going to actually have what the student sees here. This is exactly what your student would see. So when your student logs in, your virtual lesson room, that's it. You put your student's name, we'll call it Danny, and you join the room, and that's it. There's no registration, there's no sign up now, there's no put in your name, last name, address, none of that stuff. You don't need an email link to actually start this up. So all of that stuff is just thrown out the window, and plus it's peer-to-peer connection. Unlike Zoom, it's 1.2 TLS they're using. Right now, this peer-to-peer is a whole lot stronger than that, so this is a lot more secure than Zoom. So this is what the video experience looks like, and it's pretty much like anything else except for that little hamburger over there. That hamburger is your toolbox. You'll see all of your musical chords are there for the guitar. If it was piano, you'd see piano chords. So I would search a song. Let's take a song like Enter Sandman by Metallica. And once you do that and you click on it, it pulls it in, it gives it to you, and then it gives it to your student. And look at that, your student gets it too. So everything that you do is a full interaction, but notice they don't have the chords yet. So as you know, Metallica is very, very big on E minor or G major. And if you want, select those chords, and there goes your E minor and your G major. And another thing was we were having a lot of difficulty with was getting a student to understand where to put their second finger and their third finger. Sometimes their sixth string, they confused it with the first string. It was a disaster. So it's right there, and if they hover over it, it shows up even bigger. So you get to look at your student as they're putting their fingers down. Now if I'm screen sharing in Zoom, now the picture of an E minor chord is up, but now your student doesn't see you, and you can't tell if that student is doing it right or wrong, and he can't see you. So it's so simple to simply say, okay, Johnny, put your second finger on the fifth string just like that. Third finger, no, Johnny, you're doing that wrong. Just put it like this. You see me? Can't do that with Zoom. You can't say you see me while seeing the actual chord and teaching Johnny. So that's something that you can't really get with Zoom or WebEx or Skype. So that to me adds a lot of value to that lesson. So now you're able to teach them chords. Then you also have this cool download button. So Johnny can download, Enter Sandman at the end of his lesson. So we're actually making this look and feel just like a real lesson. You can't do that on Skype or Zoom or WebEx because at the end of that lesson, yeah, you can send them an email. But we've been doing that, and parents don't open their emails, parents don't download their emails. The chances of parents getting that lesson that you've written out to that child by the end of that lesson or the end of the week is zero. We're asking kids if they've practiced. They said, oh, my mom never gave me the lesson. So there you go, problem solved. Back to the teacher. So here's the teacher view. So what if you have, for example, you have your own book and you want to teach out of your own book and you don't want to teach so much of a song. What I'm going to do is give you the option for selecting a PDF. So I have our own piano instructional books and guitar instructional books. By selecting Select PDF, you have the ability to pull up any one of your songs on your in your manual, in your teaching instructional book. So if I want to learn Let It Go, and it's on page 50, there you go, it's right there. So what I would do is unselect these, because everything you select appears there. So you're going to see right there, in real time, your student gets Let It Go, and they can download it. So we see that there's a G chord, and then there's an F chord, and I'm going to select a C chord. So if you see, as I'm doing this, they're all populating. I mean, instantaneous like that. So if you have a position or a student that comes in and they want to they want to learn a song that you don't know, and they put you in a position where you got to figure it out. You got to go to YouTube, and you got to figure out the chords. You got to write out the tablature. You got to write out the chart. It's not like this. Within seconds, you pull up the sheet music, the tablature, and the chords, and it's right in front of your student. Some of the pushback we've been getting on virtual lessons is parents don't see value because they just see the teacher's face. It's not like that here. You actually see the teacher's face with the music lessons and the chords, and you're interacting with the music lesson as if they were right in front of you. At the end of that lesson, they download it, and they've actually walk away with that same piece of paper as if they were in your lesson room. So there's some really cool features here you get to see. And then you also have this one thing was the Wi-Fi. I love being able to monitor the Wi-Fi because sometimes you don't know if the student's got a bad connection or the teacher has got a bad connection. But if you look, it gives you all of the connection stats. So if your student's in a bad location, you might say, hey, Johnny, move to the living room because, boy, you're getting some really, you're breaking up a little bit on your Wi-Fi connection. Makes it so much simpler, right? Another thing I wanted to be incredibly cognizant was of groups. So let's say you're doing a group class and somebody's making fun of somebody else for not being able to pick up the song quick enough, or they're just bullying them. I mean, that happens, and kids sometimes don't even realize they're doing what they're doing, and they're making somebody feel bad. So you get the option to mute them, but this is my favorite option, is the kick out. I can kick anybody I want out of this session if they're misbehaving, they said something that was inappropriate, or they're bullying somebody. This is an educational tool, and this is what happens in the educational world, especially with groups. You don't have that with Zoom, So these are these little things that on the educational side that I've really, really thought about. This has been a project I've been working on for over 3 years. I spoke to Danny about it when I was on my first podcast 1.5 years, almost 2 years ago, if anybody remembers that. But the ability to use this as a virtual interaction is just something that you can't get from any other service. My charge is basically just for the coach, $9.95 a month, 33 cents a day. I'm actually going to the coaches and teachers and schools that feel that this is adding value to the students and for their clients. Not so much as, oh, it's $9.95, I got to worry about paying $10 a month. If you have 10 students, you're literally paying $1 more a student, or $1. So you charge a student an extra $1 more. It's 25 cents a lesson if they take 4 lessons for 10 students. So at the end of the day, it's incredibly cheap for a tool that gives you the option to provide value, which you can't get out of Zoom. And if you think Zoom provides enough value, then you're not the right person for this particular software. But I think this is a fantastic way to introduce music. And people have asked, what do you do for drummers? Vic Firth has an incredible PDF of just about all these cool rudiments that drummers can teach. So some of the feedback was, what if we imported that PDF? And we're going to do that. You'll have, on the drum side, you'll have all these cool Vic Firth rudiments, and you'll have all these exercises that you can just incorporate and the student can download. Full interaction. So I wanted to create something that was specifically for the educational niche, whether you're proctoring an exam and you want to look at the actual questions that's on the screen, and you can actually monitor the students. So if they're on their cell phone, they're basically cheating. You'll be able to monitor that. You can't do it on a screen share. Presentations of a group, you're able to monitor that as well. There's just tons of different ways and applications that you can use this for. I think it's incredibly intuitive. Mobile sites are actually in progress. There's the Apple Store I'm waiting to get the review and finalization of the app. Students are all free. So it's basically, you pay $9.95 a month for a coach, and you can have 100 students. It's paid for it itself, because if one student wants to quit because they find no virtual lesson, no value in virtual lesson, well, then you've just paid for an entire year of this app. You really have. Because if you're charging $160, $170 a month, and you have to pay $10, $9.95 for that, and grab 1 or 2 students, you've just paid this app off in the first month of their registration. So there's so much value that you see here. And again, we focused on the feedback, a lot of it for the teachers, but a lot of it for the parents as well, as what do you find to be challenging about these virtual lessons? And first and foremost, they just see the kid's head, the teacher's head, and they're telling them what to do. They didn't like that. There was no interaction of music, sheet music, tablature, nothing. Kids were unable to figure out chords on the piano and the guitar. Problem solved. And at the end of the call, when they ended it, yeah, they can record it, but their son or their daughter has not spent a single moment looking back at that recording. And it's just so, there's such a disconnect. in my honest opinion. But now they get a chance to download it. So the things, the discrepancies, the lack that you had in a regular Zoom call are all answered here. So if you can sell one parent on what this does in terms of value, you've just paid the whole year subscription, and you can have 1,000 students, and all you need is one teacher subscription for this. So I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be free for 30 days, so I have everybody testing it and checking the bandwidth, and there's going to be some quirks, I'm sure, so don't hold me to it, but ultimately it should be up in production in 30 days. rockoutloud.live. That's it. And hopefully by the time this is in production with Danny's podcast, it will be in the App Store, free for all students, and it's so simple and intuitive. You'll have toggles, so when there's a video, you can toggle the video, and when you want to introduce a chord, you hit the chords, and the chords show up on the screen. And then when you want to introduce the music, you click a button, and then the music shows up on the screen. It's an amazing application. Anyway, I hope you love it, and if you have any questions, you could always email me. Feedback is always welcome. rockoutloud.live. Just visit that, set it up, and you're done. Send the link over to your students, and you're actually in a secured meeting. rockoutloud@gmail.com for any feedback. That would be really helpful. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.